They tried to silence me, but I spoke louder.
The crowd in the park stared at me like I was a criminal. My heart beat fast. I could still feel the cold soda dripping down my back where one of the boys had poured it on me. Their laughter echoed in my ears. I had just finished filming a small video for my new YouTube channel when 3 older boys walked up and started mocking me. They called me ugly names about my skin color. One of them grabbed my phone and threw it into the grass. Another pushed me so hard I almost fell. All I wanted to do was make videos and tell stories. I didn't want to fight. But right then, in the middle of that park, I felt like my whole world had stopped. People walking by saw what was happening but nobody helped. A woman with a dog turned her head away. A man jogging slowed down but kept going. I felt invisible, like my pain didn't matter. Then one of the boys leaned in close and whispered a word in my ear, a word that burned my heart. That was the moment I knew. This was racism, not just bullying. But something happened next that changed everything. A man about 30 years old with a camera hanging from his neck had been filming birds nearby. He had caught the whole thing on his camera without me knowing. He stepped in and shouted at the boys to stop. They ran away laughing. The man walked up to me and asked if I was okay. I couldn't speak. I just nodded, tears rolling down my face. He handed me my phone and said, "You're going to be okay. I recorded everything. You're not alone." That video he took went viral on YouTube. It was uploaded to his channel with the title, "Teen Suffers Racist Attack While Filming." In just a few days it reached millions of views. News channels wanted to interview me. People I didn't know sent kind messages. Some said they'd been through the same thing. Some said they were proud of me. But at that moment, sitting alone in my bedroom staring at the screen, my hands were still shaking. I didn't know if my life was about to get better or worse. I looked at my subscriber count, 127 people. But after the video spread, it jumped to 25,000 in a week. I was scared but also curious. Could YouTube really change my life? Could I turn this pain into something powerful? That was the question that burned inside me. And then, one night, a message came to my email that would change everything again. It wasn't from a stranger. It wasn't from a fan. It was from one of the boys who had attacked me. He said only 5 words. "I know where you live." I froze. My stomach turned. I didn't know if it was a joke or a real threat. I clicked off my phone and sat on my bed staring at the wall. My heart pounded like a drum. My name is Jordan Carter. I'm 16 years old, from a small town in Ohio. Before all this happened, I was just a quiet kid who liked drawing comics and making short videos with my phone. My mom works nights at the hospital, and my dad drives trucks for a living, so most evenings I was home alone with my little sister, Mia. I started my YouTube channel the summer after 9th grade. At first it was just simple videos of me drawing or telling jokes. I didn't get many views, but I didn't care. Making videos was my escape. In real life, at school, kids sometimes whispered about me. Some laughed at my hair. Some made jokes about my skin. I tried to ignore it, but deep down it hurt. One day, at school, we had a history class project about famous people who fought for equal rights. I chose Rosa Parks. When I gave my presentation, a boy in the back said, "Why do you always pick black stuff?" The class went silent. The teacher cleared her throat and said we should respect everyone's choices. But I saw the smirk on the boy's face. That was the first time I felt truly singled out. After that, things slowly got worse. In the cafeteria, kids would mimic my voice. In the locker room, one of them wrote a slur on my gym bag with a marker. I told a teacher, but nothing really happened. The teacher said, "Kids can be mean," and that was it. I felt powerless. That's why I went to the park that day. I wanted to film a video about standing up to bullying. I didn't know that by the end of the day, I'd be the one needing help. The park was my safe place. It had tall trees, a pond, and a bench where I liked to sit and plan my videos. That afternoon I set up my phone on a small tripod and began talking to the camera. I was saying things like, "You're not alone, and it gets better," because I wanted other kids to feel hope. But then I heard footsteps behind me. When I turned, 3 boys were standing there. They were older than me, probably seniors. I recognized one from school football games. They started laughing and pointing at my camera. "What you filming, little man?" one asked. "You think you're some big YouTuber?" I tried to ignore them, but they got closer. One picked up my tripod and waved it around. "Say something funny for us," he said. I reached for my phone, but he held it up high. "Dance for us," he said, "or we'll smash your phone." I said, "Please, just give it back." That's when the soda poured over my back, cold and sticky. My heart raced. I wanted to run, but I also wanted my phone back. They called me names about my skin, names I'd heard whispered but never shouted in my face. It was like fire in my ears. I don't know how long it lasted before the man with the camera appeared. His voice was deep and angry. "Stop it right now," he said. The boys hesitated, then ran off, still laughing. I collapsed to the grass, shaking. That video became my unwanted introduction to the world. 4 days, my name was everywhere. My classmates looked at me differently. Some apologized for things they'd said. Others avoided me. Teachers started treating me gently, like I was fragile glass. My mom cried when she saw the news story. My dad clenched his fists and said he wanted to talk to the boys' parents, but I told him not to. I just wanted it all to stop. But at night, alone in my room, I watched my subscriber count grow. People were asking me to share my story. They said I was brave. Some sent me money through my channel. I didn't know what to do with all this attention. Then the email came. "I know where you live." No name, no picture, just those words. My hands shook as I read it again and again. My mom was working. My dad was on the road. Mia was asleep. I felt completely alone. I called the police but hung up before saying anything. I didn't know if they'd even believe me. I went to my window and looked out into the dark street. Every sound made me jump. Was someone outside? Was it a prank? Or was it real? The next morning at school, kids whispered even louder. Some said the boys who attacked me were suspended. Some said they'd been expelled. Nobody knew for sure. I tried to focus on class, but my mind kept flashing to that email. At lunch, a girl named Emily sat next to me. She was in my art class and always smiled at me before. Now her face looked worried. "Jordan," she said, "be careful. People are saying crazy stuff online. My brother saw a thread about you." "What kind of stuff?" I asked. She hesitated. "They're planning to do something to your channel. Or maybe to you. I don't know." My stomach twisted. "Why?" She shrugged. "Because you're getting attention. Some people hate that." That night I opened my laptop and saw hundreds of new comments under my videos. Most were kind, but some were full of hate. Some said I was lying. Some used the same slurs the boys had used in the park. My hands trembled as I scrolled. Then I saw another message. "We're coming for you." I closed the laptop and pressed my face into my pillow. I didn't want to cry, but the tears came anyway. Then my phone buzzed. It was a message from the man with the camera. His name was Daniel Lewis. He wrote, "You're not alone. Let's talk. I know people who can help." I hesitated. I didn't know him well, but something in his words felt safe. I texted back, "Okay." Daniel called me on video. He told me he had been through something similar when he was younger. He said he knew some lawyers and also some big YouTubers who could support me. "You can turn this around," he said. "Don't let them silence you. Tell your story your way." That night I sat at my desk and hit record. My hands were still shaking, but my voice came out steady. "Hi," I said. "My name is Jordan Carter, and I want to tell you what happened to me." I told the whole story of the park, the names, the soda, the fear. I told them about the email and the threats. I didn't cry this time. I looked straight at the camera and said, I will not stop making videos. I posted it before I could change my mind. Within an hour it had 50,000 views. People started sharing it with the hashtag #StandWithJordan. Big YouTubers reacted to it. News outlets wrote articles. My channel grew to 50,000, then 100,000 subscribers. For the first time, I felt like maybe I wasn't just a victim. Maybe I could be a voice. But then, a week later, something happened that was even worse than the email. It was a Friday night. Mia was at a friend's house. My mom was at work. I was alone again, editing a new video. I heard a sound outside, like someone walking in the yard. I turned off the lights and peeked through the blinds. A dark figure stood near our mailbox. My heart jumped into my throat. I grabbed my phone and started recording. The figure turned toward the house. Even in the dark, I could see the glint of something metallic in his hand. I ducked down, my breath shallow. My phone slipped from my sweaty hands and hit the floor with a soft thud. Then came a knock at the door. The knock came again, louder this time. My whole body froze. My heart beat so hard I could hear it in my ears. The dark figure outside the window had moved to the porch. I could see a shadow through the glass panel next to the door. Whoever it was hadn't spoken yet. They just knocked, slow and heavy. Knock, knock, knock. My phone was still on the floor, the camera still recording. My hands shook as I picked it up and whispered into the mic. Someone's outside. Please help. I sent the video to Daniel without even checking. I thought about calling 911, but what would I say? Someone's knocking at my door. Didn't sound like enough. But the metallic glint I'd seen, was it a weapon? My mind raced. Go away. I shouted, my voice cracking. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then a voice, low and rough. We know who you are. I felt my knees go weak. I backed away from the door, step by step, until my back hit the hallway wall. I could smell my own sweat. My mind flashed to Mia, to Mom, to Dad. Then a car passed by on the street, its headlights sweeping across the porch. For a split second, the figure was lit up. It wasn't one person. It was two. Hoodies pulled low over their faces. One of them had something shiny in his hand, maybe a phone, maybe a knife. They stepped back into the dark. Then the voice again, almost a whisper, "Come outside, Jordan." My phone buzzed in my hand. It was Daniel calling. I answered with shaking fingers. "Jordan, stay calm," he said. "I'm calling the police right now. Lock yourself in a room. Don't go near the windows." I ran to my bedroom and locked the door. My hands were trembling so much I almost dropped the phone again. "They're outside," I whispered. "I know," Daniel said. "I'm watching your live feed. You're smart to record. Just stay put." I crouched in the corner of my room, clutching my phone like a lifeline. I could hear the muffled sound of voices outside, then footsteps moving around the house. The front doorknob rattled once, twice. Then silence again. Minutes felt like hours. I stayed crouched, my heart hammering. Finally, flashing red and blue lights washed across my window. A siren hooped once. Then men's voices shouting, "Police! Hands up!" I ran to the window and peered out. 2 police cars were in front of our house. Officers were moving toward the porch, guns drawn. They shouted again. "Get on the ground!" 2 figures bolted from the porch and ran into the dark. The police chased them, but only one was caught. The other disappeared between houses. I stayed in my room, still shaking, until an officer called my name. "Jordan Carter? It's safe. Come out." I opened the door slowly. 2 officers were inside the house now, their flashlights sweeping across the living room. One of them was tall with kind eyes. "Are you okay, son?" he asked. I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. They asked me questions. What did I see? Did I know them? Did they threaten me? I told them about the email, about the metallic glint, about the voice saying they knew who I was. They took my statement and told me they'd patrol the area for the next few nights. Then one officer said, "You're brave. Not everyone would record something like that." I didn't feel brave. I felt small, like a bug under a glass. When Mom came home from her shift and saw the police cars, she almost fainted. She hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Her eyes were wide with fear. "We're moving," she said immediately. "We're packing our things and leaving." But Dad called from the road and told us to wait. He said, "If we run now, they win." He promised he'd come home the next day. That night, Mom made me sleep in her room. She kept the light on. Neither of us slept much. Every creak of the house made us jump. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened in just a few weeks. A month ago I was a quiet kid with a small channel. Now my videos had millions of views. Strangers knew my name, my face, my house. Some of them wanted to hurt me. But also, thousands of people were supporting me. Teachers, neighbors, even celebrities were sending messages. I thought about Rosa Parks, about how scared she must have been but how she didn't back down. Could I do the same? Or was I just a scared kid with a phone? The next morning Dad came home early. He hugged me hard and promised he'd take time off the road until things calmed down. He also brought home a security camera system from a store. We set it up around the house, 4 cameras, one on each side, with motion alerts sent to his phone. Mia came home from her friend's house and burst into tears when she saw me. "I don't want you to get hurt," she said. "I won't," I told her, even though I wasn't sure. We all sat in the living room watching the news. They were showing the footage from my phone and the police body cams. The headline read, "Teen YouTuber targeted after racist attack." Seeing myself on TV felt strange, like watching someone else's life. Then the anchor said something that made Dad's jaw tighten. "The suspects are believed to be connected to the same group of boys involved in the park incident last month." It was them. Again. The next few days were quieter. No more knocks at the door. The police patrolled. We got supportive letters from people all over the country. My subscriber count passed 250,000. Big brands started emailing me, asking to sponsor videos. It felt unreal. I made a video thanking everyone. "You guys are my family now," I said into the camera. "You've given me hope when I had none." Comments flooded in. "We're with you, Jordan. Stay strong. Don't give up." For a moment I almost felt safe. Then Daniel called with news. "Jordan," he said, "I need you to be careful. The boy the police caught? He's out on bail. And he's angry. He's posting on social media about you." My stomach dropped. "What's he saying?" Daniel hesitated. "He says this isn't over." I started to notice cars slowing down in front of our house. Once, a white truck parked across the street for 10 minutes, then drove away when Dad came outside. Another time, someone left a dead rat in our mailbox. Mom wanted to call the police again, but Dad said it might just be a prank. At school, people stared at me like I was a celebrity. Some asked for selfies. Others avoided me. The principal called me into his office and said they were expelling the boys involved. He said, "We don't tolerate this behavior." But it felt too late. Emily kept sitting with me at lunch. "You're stronger than I would be," she said. "I'm not strong," I told her. "I'm scared all the time." One afternoon after school, I went to the library to work on a new video. It was quieter there, and the librarian liked me. I was editing when I noticed a notification pop up. It was a live chat request from an unknown account. The name was Just Watcher. The message read, "Nice library. Red hoodie looks good on you." I froze. I was wearing a red hoodie. I looked around the library. A few students at tables. An old man reading a newspaper. Nobody looking at me, or maybe everyone was. Another message popped up, "Smile for the camera." I shut my laptop so fast it almost broke. My hands shook. I stuffed everything into my bag and ran out of the library. My heart pounded as I looked around the parking lot. Who was Watcher? How did they know where I was? At home that night I didn't tell Mom or Dad. I didn't want them to panic. But I told Daniel. He said, "Jordan, you need to go to the police again. This is serious." I hesitated. Part of me wanted to quit YouTube, delete everything, go back to being invisible. But another part of me, the part that started the channel to help people, didn't want to give them that power. I recorded another video instead. This time I looked straight into the camera and said, "Whoever you are, you won't scare me. I will keep making videos. I will keep speaking out." It went viral again. Celebrities shared it. News anchors praised my courage. But inside I was trembling. A few days later, Daniel invited me to a small YouTubers meetup in Cleveland. "It'll be safe," he promised. "Security, lots of people. You need to meet others who've been through stuff." Mom was hesitant, but Dad said, "He can't hide forever." So on Saturday morning we drove to Cleveland. The event was in a big community center with bright lights and cameras everywhere. When I walked in, people cheered. Some came up to hug me. Big YouTubers I'd watched for years shook my hand and told me to stay strong. For the first time in months, I felt like I belonged somewhere. I gave a short speech on stage about my experience. "You're not alone," I told the audience. "No matter what happens, keep speaking your truth." They clapped and cheered. Daniel put his arm around my shoulder and whispered, "See? You're turning pain into power." I smiled for the first time in days. After the event, we went to a small cafe nearby. Daniel and I sat at a table near the window, sipping hot chocolate. I was finally starting to relax when my phone buzzed. A new email. It was from Watcher. The subject line, "Nice speech." The body, "Look outside." I froze, staring at the screen. Slowly, I turned my head toward the window. Across the street, a black car sat parked with its engine running. Tinted windows. No license plate on the front. Then the car's headlights flashed twice. Daniel followed my gaze. "Jordan," he said softly, "don't move." Daniel's hand tightened on my shoulder as the black car idled across the street. The cafe was suddenly too quiet. All I could hear was the low hum of the car's engine through the glass. People inside kept chatting, sipping coffee, scrolling on their phones. No one but us seemed to notice. "Stay calm," Daniel whispered. "We're inside, full of people. They can't do anything here." My phone buzzed again. Another email from Watcher. "You look scared." "Don't be." I swallowed hard and showed Daniel the screen. His jaw clenched. "We're leaving out the back," he said quietly. We slid from the table, trying not to draw attention, and headed toward the restrooms where the back exit was. Daniel pushed open the metal door to the alley behind the cafe. Cold air hit my face. We slipped outside. He pulled his phone out, snapping a quick picture of the black car through the cafe window. "License plates covered," he muttered. "Cowards." We started walking fast down the alley, my heart hammering. I kept glancing over my shoulder, expecting the car to come screeching around the corner. The alley led to a side street lined with small shops. We blended into the flow of pedestrians. Daniel kept one arm around my shoulders like an older brother. "We're going to the train station," he said. "Crowded, cameras everywhere. Safe." But before we reached the end of the block, my phone buzzed again. Another email. "Nice escape route." I stopped walking. "They're watching us right now," I whispered. Daniel looked around, scanning rooftops and parked cars. "Keep walking," he said firmly. "They want to scare you. Don't give them the satisfaction." We reached the train station and ducked inside. The smell of pretzels and diesel filled the air. Crowds moved in every direction, dragging suitcases and sipping coffee. I felt safer among so many people. Daniel bought 2 tickets to the next local train, even though we didn't know where we were going. We just needed to move. As we waited on the platform, I saw my reflection in a glass panel. Pale, eyes wide, hoodie pulled up. I looked like a fugitive. The train ride was short. We got off at a station near a big public library downtown. Daniel led me into a quiet reading room where sunlight streamed through tall windows. "Breathe," he said. "We're okay for now." I sat down at a wooden table, my hands still trembling. "Why are they doing this?" I asked. "I'm just a kid making videos." Daniel sighed. "Because you're visible. Because you stood up. Some people can't handle that. He opened his laptop and started typing fast. I'm sending everything to my lawyer and a friend at the FBI. We're done playing around. I stared at the tall bookshelves, trying to slow my breathing. Around us, people read quietly. The smell of paper and wood was calming. For the first time all day, I felt a flicker of peace. Then my phone vibrated. A new message from Watcher. This one had a picture attached. My heart dropped when I opened it. It was a photo of me sitting at the very table where I sat now in the library. Same hoodie. Same angle. Taken just seconds ago. I whipped my head around, scanning the room. A man with glasses reading a newspaper. A woman with a laptop. A teenager with earbuds. Any of them could have taken it. I pushed the phone toward Daniel. They're here, I whispered. Daniel looked around calmly, then said softly, We're leaving. Now. We walked quickly out of the reading room, trying to act normal. Daniel called someone on his phone. Yeah, it's happening again, he said. Meet us at the corner of 5th and Main. Bring the van. Outside, the sun had dipped lower, casting long shadows across the city street. Daniel guided me toward a busy intersection. A white van pulled up, driven by a tall woman with short hair and sunglasses. Get in, she said. This is Leah, Daniel told me. She's a security consultant. She's going to help. Inside the van were 2 other people with laptops and cameras mounted on the dashboard. We've been tracking the threats, Leah said as she drove. We think we know who Watcher is. Who? I asked, my voice small. Same group of boys, she said. And someone older helping them. We're gathering evidence. As she drove, I saw the city blur by. For the first time, I felt like there were adults on my side who knew what they were doing. They took us to a secure office building downtown. Inside, screens showed maps, social media feeds, and security camera footage. It looked like a command center from a movie. Leah introduced me to a man in a suit named Marcus. We work with digital safety and anti-harassment cases, he said. We're going to protect you. They showed me a wall of screenshots, every threatening message, every email, every photo. We're documenting everything for law enforcement, Marcus said. You've been very brave. I sat there stunned. Just weeks ago I'd been filming little videos in my bedroom. Now a whole team was protecting me. Daniel put a hand on my shoulder. This is where the tide turns, he said. You're not alone anymore. They set me up in a small guest room inside the office building for the night. It's safer if you stay here, Leah said. Your parents know you're okay. The room had a cot, a desk, and a small window looking out over the city. I lay down fully clothed, my phone charging beside me. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could sleep. But around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. A new message from Watcher. Just 4 words. We're in the building. I shot upright, my heart slamming in my chest. I listened. The building was silent except for the hum of the air conditioner. I jumped off the cot and ran to the hallway. Daniel was already there, holding his phone. I got the same message, he whispered. Leah appeared from another room, wearing a hoodie over her pajamas. What's going on? She asked. They're saying they're in the building, Daniel said. Leah pulled out a small radio. Security, lock all exits now. We gathered in the control room, eyes darting to the security camera screens. Dozens of feeds showed hallways, stairwells, and the lobby. Then one camera flickered. In the grainy image of the lobby, a shadow moved near the front desk. Leah zoomed in. A hooded figure stood just inside the door, looking up at the camera. Then another figure joined him. They're here, Leah said calmly. Call the police. Daniel grabbed my arm and guided me behind a row of desks. Stay low, he whispered. On the screen, one of the hooded figures raised a can of spray paint and scrawled something on the wall. The words appeared slowly, letter by letter. Silence. Then the feed went black. Sirens blared through the building. Red emergency lights flashed. Leah shouted into her radio, security breach. Lockdown. We heard footsteps echoing in the stairwell. Then a loud crash, like a door being kicked open. Daniel whispered, "This is not a drill. Stay behind me." I crouched low, my hands over my ears, my heart pounding. The control room door rattled once, twice. Then a voice from the other side, muffled but clear. "Jordan, come out." I felt the blood drain from my face. Leah motioned for silence. She and Daniel moved to opposite sides of the door, holding small metal batons. Marcus whispered something into his phone, probably to the police. The door rattled again. Harder. Then, silence. We waited, breaths held. Suddenly, the overhead lights flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness except for the glow of the security screens. On one screen, a hooded face appeared inches from the camera lens, grinning. Then all the screens went black. Total darkness. I could hear my own breathing, ragged and shallow. Somewhere to my left, Daniel whispered, "Stay down." Leah's radio hissed with static. The only light came from the faint red emergency bulbs along the floor, casting everyone's faces in eerie crimson. Then the control room door shuttered again. A loud clang, like metal hitting metal. My heart slammed against my ribs. I crawled backward under a desk, pressing myself against the wall. Leah flicked on a small flashlight, its beam slicing through the dark. "Stay together," she hissed. "They cut the power. They know what they're doing." Daniel crouched beside me, his hand on my shoulder. "Breathe," he whispered. "We're going to get out of this." Another crash at the door. Marcus muttered, "Cops are 3 minutes out." His phone glowed faintly as he spoke into it. The door hinges squealed. Leah signaled to Daniel, then pulled a panel under one of the desks, revealing a hidden door. "Emergency exit tunnel," she whispered. "Go." Daniel nudged me. "Jordan first." I crawled into the tunnel, a narrow passage smelling of dust and concrete. My knees scraped the rough floor. Daniel followed, then Leah, then Marcus. The door behind us closed, just as another crash echoed from the control room. We could hear muffled voices shouting. We crawled for what felt like forever. My palms were slick with sweat. At last we reached a metal grate. Leah pushed it open, and we tumbled into a dim storage room filled with boxes. She shut the grate behind us and bolted it. "They won't find this exit," she said. I sat on the floor, trembling. "Why won't they stop?" I whispered. Daniel crouched beside me. "Because you're proof they can be caught," he said quietly. "That terrifies them." We waited in the storage room until Leah's phone buzzed. "Police are inside," she said. "They're clearing the building." When it was safe, we emerged back into the hall. Police officers with flashlights were everywhere, shouting orders, checking rooms. One of them escorted us to the lobby. The spray-painted word, "Silence," still glistened on the wall. The officers had caught one of the intruders trying to escape through a stairwell. The other had vanished. I stared at the spray paint, the dripping letters. My hands curled into fists. "They're trying to shut me up," I said. Daniel looked at me with a strange mix of pride and worry. "But you're still here," he said. Back in the command center, power restored, Leah showed me the intruder's face from a body cam. I recognized him instantly, one of the 3 boys from the park. "His parents posted bail again," Leah said grimly. "But now we have enough evidence to push federal charges." Marcus put a comforting hand on my shoulder. "This isn't just harassment anymore," he said. "This is a hate crime and a cyber-stalking case. You've been incredibly strong." My throat felt dry. "I just want it to stop," I whispered. For the next few days we moved to a safe house. It was a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood, guarded by private security. My parents visited, bringing Mia, who clung to me and wouldn't let go. At night I lay awake, thinking about everything that had happened: the park, the emails, the car, the library photo, the break-in. All because I made videos. But something else was happening too. My channel had passed 500,000 subscribers. People were sending stories of their own struggles with racism and bullying. Teachers were using my videos in classrooms. Organizations were reaching out to partner with me. I began to feel a strange power in all this pain. Maybe I could make real change. One afternoon in the safe house, Daniel brought me a small box. Inside was a new camera and microphone. "Your old gear's gone," he said. "Let's rebuild." I set it up on the little kitchen table and recorded a new video. This time my voice was steady, almost calm. "Hey guys," I said. "It's Jordan. You've probably seen what's been happening. I'm still here. I'm still standing. And I want to thank you for standing with me. Together we can beat hate." I uploaded it and sat back. Within an hour it had 1 million views. Comments flooded in. "You're inspiring. Keep fighting. We've got your back." I smiled for the first time in days. But that night, while we were eating dinner, Leah's phone buzzed. She frowned, then turned pale. "We've got a problem," she said. She put her phone on the table. It showed a live stream, my live stream. But I wasn't streaming. The video showed the inside of the safe house, the very room we were sitting in. Someone had hacked into the security cameras. We all jumped up, looking around. Daniel grabbed my arm. "We're leaving. Now." Leah barked orders into her radio. "All units, lockdown compromised. Evacuate asset immediately." My heart raced as we scrambled to grab our things. "How do they know where we are?" I gasped. "Inside help," Leah muttered grimly. "Has to be." We piled into a black SUV waiting outside. 2 security guards climbed in with us, their eyes scanning the street. The driver sped off, taking back roads. Daniel sat beside me, holding my hand. "Hang on, Jordan," he said. "We're going to a new location. Safer." My phone buzzed. A new message from Watcher. "Running won't save you." I shoved the phone into my pocket, shaking. "When will this end?" I whispered. Daniel didn't answer. The new safe house was on the edge of town, hidden behind tall trees. It looked like an old cabin, but inside it was modern, with reinforced doors and no cameras connected to the internet. Leah's team swept the entire place before letting us inside. "No signals," she said. "No devices they can hack. Old school security only." For the first time in days, I felt like maybe we'd finally found a place where they couldn't reach me. That night we sat around a small fireplace. Daniel told stories from his own childhood. Leah cracked jokes. For a moment it felt almost normal, like camping with family. I thought about all the people online who were supporting me. Maybe I could build something new from this, a foundation, a charity, a movement. In the morning I woke to birdsong instead of sirens. Sunlight streamed through the window. I sat on the porch, sipping hot cocoa, and felt a flicker of peace. Daniel joined me. "You're changing people's lives," he said quietly. "You've taken their hate and turned it into light." I smiled, a real smile this time. "Maybe we can stop hiding soon," I said. He nodded. "One step at a time." Later that afternoon, Leah took a call outside. When she came back, her face was pale. "We have a situation," she said. "What now?" Daniel asked, his voice tight. Leah hesitated. "They're not just threatening anymore. They've escalated." She handed Daniel her phone. I leaned over his shoulder to look. It was a photo of my school, taken just minutes ago. In the picture, a backpack sat on the front step. The caption read, "TikTok." My stomach dropped. "They're threatening the school now," Leah said grimly. "We've called the police, but we need to move fast." Daniel turned to me. "Jordan, we need to tell the authorities everything. No more holding back." "I already have," I said, my voice shaking. Leah's radio crackled. "We've got movement near the perimeter," a guard's voice said. "Perimeter?" Daniel asked sharply. "2 vehicles approaching from the north," the guard replied. Leah grabbed her walkie-talkie. "All units, full alert." I felt my hands go cold. We had reinforced doors, but if they'd found us again. Outside engines roared. Tires crunched on gravel. Shadows moved among the trees. Daniel pulled me behind him, his eyes scanning the windows. Leah drew a small black device from her belt. "Panic alarm," she said. "Police and backup on the way." Then a voice echoed through the trees, amplified by some kind of speaker. Jordan! Come out! Another voice joined in, mocking. Tick-tock, Jordan. Tick-tock. My stomach twisted. It's them, I whispered. Daniel gripped my arm. Stay low. We heard footsteps circling the cabin. Then a loud bang at the front door. Another at the back. Leah hissed into her radio. Where's backup? 2 minutes out, a voice replied. We crouched in the hallway, hearts pounding. Another bang. Wood splintered. Jordan, a voice shouted. This ends tonight. The cabin walls rattled with every blow. Dust drifted from the ceiling beams. Leah raised a finger to her lips and signaled us to crawl into the pantry, a small steel-lined room hidden behind the kitchen. Daniel guided me inside first, then shut the heavy door. The space was dark except for a faint blue glow from his phone. Stay low, stay quiet, Leah whispered. I pressed my ear to the wall. Footstep. Shouts. Someone tried the windows, rattling them hard. Another loud crack, wood splitting. My heart thumped so loudly I was sure they could hear it through the walls. They'll be in any second, Daniel murmured. Then, faintly, over the sound of our own breathing, we heard sirens. Through a crack in the pantry door, I watched Leah's face relax just a little. That's backup, she whispered. She spoke into her walkie. Hold position, units inbound. Suddenly a flash of light burst through the window, a flare tossed into the living room. Smoke began to fill the cabin. I coughed, covering my mouth with my sleeve. They're trying to flush us out, Daniel said. Leah cursed under her breath. Stay put. Outside, we heard engines growling and boots pounding on gravel. Someone yelled, Police! Get down! Then a series of sharp pops, not gunfire but flashbang grenades. Shouts. The sound of a scuffle. More shouting. For several minutes the world was nothing but chaos and muffled thuds. Then, slowly, silence. Leah opened the pantry door. Stay here, she ordered, then disappeared into the smoky living room. We heard voices, low and professional, and boots moving across the floor. Daniel squeezed my shoulder. We made it, he whispered. When Leah came back, her eyes were grim but calm. They're gone. Police have them. I stepped out of the pantry and blinked at the scene. Smoke drifting across the living room, shards of wood from the broken door, 2 deputies standing guard at the windows. Blue and red lights flashed outside, staining the walls with color. They were better organized than last time, Leah said. But now we've got them on multiple counts. This should finally stop. I wanted to believe her. But deep down, I knew something bigger was happening. We spent the next few hours at the local sheriff's office giving statements. I described everything: the messages, the threats, the hacking, the break-ins. Daniel and Leah backed up every detail with evidence. Federal agents joined the interview, scribbling notes. They're going away for a long time, one of the agents told me. We're moving your case to federal court. Despite his confident tone, I felt no relief. They knew where I was, I said quietly. How? The agent exchanged a glance with Leah. We're looking into it. They moved me again, this time to a hotel in the city, under round-the-clock protection. Daniel stayed with me. The room was small but clean, with a window overlooking neon lights and traffic below. At night, I watched the city glow and wondered how everything had gotten so out of control. But something else happened too. My videos were exploding. News outlets picked up my story. #StandWithJordan trended on Twitter for a week. Civil rights lawyers and activists reached out to support me. Even celebrities posted messages of encouragement. It felt like I had a whole army on my side now. I decided to record another video. This time, I sat on the hotel bed, the camera perched on a stack of books. My voice trembled, but I kept going. Hi, everyone. I've been through a lot lately. But I want you to know, I'm still fighting. Racism tried to silence me. Hate tried to scare me. But you've all shown me we're stronger together. Thank you. I uploaded it, and within hours it had millions of views. Comments poured in from around the world. People shared their own stories. Teachers invited me to speak at schools. Organizations offered to sponsor anti-racism workshops in my name. For the first time, I felt like maybe all this pain was making a difference. But late one night, as Daniel slept on the couch, my phone buzzed with a new notification. A private message on a social platform. "You can't hide behind cops forever. We're coming." I froze. The sender's username was different, but the style was the same. Another watcher? Or someone else entirely? I showed Daniel in the morning. He frowned. Could be a copycat. Could be the same group. "We'll tell Leah." When Leah arrived, she studied the message. "Could be a diversion," she said. "But we're not taking chances. We'll add another security layer." Despite her calm voice, I saw the tension in her eyes. Days passed. The boys arrested at the cabin were charged federally. One of them flipped, giving the FBI names of others involved, a loose online network that glorified hate and violence. Agents raided several homes across the country. It made the news. But even as the network unraveled, the threats kept coming. Anonymous posts, doctored videos, fake accounts pretending to be me. I felt like I was fighting a hydra, cut off one head and two more appeared. Then one morning, Daniel handed me a tablet. "You need to see this," he said. It was a news clip. A man in his 20s, wearing a hoodie, speaking to a local reporter. He claimed he was a former member of the group targeting me. He said there was a plan, not just harassment but something far bigger, planned for a specific date. "They're not done," he said into the camera. "They're going to hit something big to make an example out of her." My stomach turned. "When?" I whispered. "The reporter says he didn't give a date," Daniel said. "But the FBI's already on it." That night I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, watching headlights streak past. My channel had crossed 1 million subscribers. Offers from publishers and studios filled my inbox. I should have been celebrating. Instead I felt like a prisoner. Daniel came and sat beside me. "You've done more in a year than most do in a lifetime," he said softly. "Don't let them steal your joy." "I'm scared for everyone else," I whispered. "My family, my friends. They're going after them now." He took my hand. "We'll stop them. One step at a time." 2 days later, Leah arrived with news. "The FBI wants you to appear at a press conference," she said. "They're going to announce indictments against the hate group." I hesitated. "Publicly?" "Yes," she said. "It's your choice. But it could help send a message." Daniel looked at me. "You've already become a symbol. This would make it official." I took a deep breath. "I'll do it." The press conference was held in a federal building downtown. Security was tight, metal detectors, bomb dogs, plainclothes agents. Cameras from every major network pointed at the podium. I stood beside the U.S. Attorney, my hands trembling. He spoke first, announcing the arrests, the charges, the evidence. Then he introduced me as a courageous young voice against hate. I stepped up to the microphone. Bright lights blinded me. I swallowed hard. "I started a YouTube channel to share my life," I said. "I never expected it to lead here. Racism hurt me. It tried to silence me. But it also showed me the power of standing up and speaking out. Thank you to everyone who has supported me." Applause filled the room. For a moment I felt hope. Afterward, reporters crowded around. "Jordan, what's next for you? Are you afraid? Will you keep making videos?" I smiled weakly and said I'd keep fighting for change. Daniel guided me out to the waiting SUV. "You did great," he said. Leah climbed in the front seat, speaking into her radio. Convoy rolling. Route 3. As we pulled away from the building, I looked out the window at the crowd of journalists and onlookers. For the first time, I felt like maybe we'd turned a corner. But just as we reached the freeway on-ramp, Leah's radio crackled. "Convoy break. We have a security alert. Possible IED threat on Route 3. Leah's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror. Switching to Route 4. The driver took the next exit. We wound through back streets, the city rushing past in a blur. My pulse quickened. Daniel squeezed my hand. "It's just a precaution," he said. But then my phone buzzed with a new notification. A live video link. I clicked it without thinking. The screen showed an aerial view of our SUV from above, a drone's camera feed. A digital clock in the corner counted down from 0:59. My blood ran cold. "Daniel," I whispered. "They're watching us. Right now." He grabbed the phone, his eyes widening at the countdown. "What is that?" I asked. He didn't answer. Outside, a small black drone dipped lower, following our car. The drone hovered just above the freeway, its black body glinting in the sun. Through the tinted window I could see its blinking red light and hear the faint whir of its propellers. The digital clock on my phone ticked down. 00:44, 00:43. Leah barked into her radio. "Drone on us, possible explosive payload. Units, intercept now." The driver swerved hard onto a side street, tires screeching. Daniel pulled me down onto the floor of the SUV, shielding me with his body. My heart pounded so hard I couldn't breathe. "What's happening?" I gasped. "Stay low," Daniel said, his arms locked around me. Leah turned to us, her face taut. "If it's a bomb, we need distance. We're diverting to the river tunnel." She shouted at the driver, "Go, go, go!" The SUV roared toward a concrete underpass that led beneath the city. The drone swooped lower, following like a predator. Inside the tunnel, flashing emergency lights lined the ceiling. Leah activated a jammer device from the dashboard. A burst of static filled the air. The drone wobbled, then spun in midair, its red light flickering. "Signal cut," Leah said. "It's blind." The driver accelerated, taking a sharp turn onto a maintenance road that exited the tunnel onto a closed-off construction site. Behind us, the drone crashed against the tunnel wall with a metallic screech. Everyone exhaled at once. Daniel loosened his grip on me. "You okay?" he whispered. I nodded shakily. "I think so." Leah spoke into her radio. "Drone neutralized. Secure the site. Get forensics on that wreck." We drove to a fortified garage downtown. Agents swarmed the SUV, checking for tracking devices. Daniel helped me out of the car. My knees trembled. Leah's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then held it out for me to see. It was a message from the FBI director himself. "They've crossed the line. We're executing the warrants tonight." I swallowed hard. "Does that mean it's over?" Leah's eyes softened. "It means we're finally striking back." That evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, a coordinated operation unfolded across 3 states. Agents raided homes, seized servers, arrested ringleaders. The news channels showed footage of men in handcuffs, computers being carried out, stacks of cash and weapons confiscated. Daniel and I watched it all from a secure room. My name flashed on the news ticker. YouTube activist targeted by racist group, leaders arrested in nationwide sting. I couldn't stop shaking. "It's really happening," I whispered. Daniel put an arm around me. "You helped make this happen," he said. "You exposed them. You gave them nowhere to hide." Leah came in, her usual stern expression replaced by a faint smile. "It's over," she said simply. "They're done." I didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Instead I just sat there, absorbing the weight of it. Days passed. The FBI debriefed me. Federal prosecutors built their cases. My family finally moved back home. For the first time in months, I walked down my own street without looking over my shoulder. My YouTube channel became more than just a channel. With help from Daniel and Leah, I founded an organization called Voices Unmuted, dedicated to supporting young people who experienced racism and online harassment. Donations poured in from around the world. We launched an app connecting victims with lawyers and counselors. Schools adopted my videos as teaching tools. 1 year after the park incident, I stood on a stage at a national conference, looking out over an audience of thousands. The lights were bright, the applause loud. A banner above the stage read, "How one voice sparked a movement." I took a deep breath and began. A year ago, I was just a teenager making videos. I was scared, confused, and angry. When racism hit me, I thought I was alone. But when I spoke up, millions of you stood with me. You proved that one voice can change the world. The crowd rose to their feet, cheering. I smiled. Not the shaky smile of someone barely holding on, but the real smile of someone who had survived and grown stronger. After the speech, reporters asked me how it felt to go from victim to activist. I thought about the year behind me, the park, the car, the emails, the break-ins, the cabin, the drone. All the fear and the courage it took to keep going. It wasn't YouTube alone that changed my life, I said. It was the people who found me there. It was the power of community. It was realizing that even when hate tries to silence you, your voice can be louder. Daniel, standing nearby, gave me a thumbs up. Leah, off to the side, nodded once, her eyes glinting with pride. That night, back at the hotel, I opened my laptop and clicked on my oldest video. The one from before everything happened. My younger self smiled shyly into the camera, talking about sneakers and homework and dreams. I closed it and opened a new file. The title bar blinked at me. How YouTube Changed My Life in 1 Year. I started recording. Hi everyone, I said. This is the story of how I went from being a victim of racism to building something bigger than myself. This is about you and me and the power of speaking up. This is about how we win. As I spoke, I realized that the circle was complete. The thing that had started as a simple hobby had become my shield, my sword, and my microphone to the world. The pain hadn't vanished. I still carried scars, visible and invisible, but it had transformed into purpose. And I knew then, as the camera light glowed red and the recording icon blinked, that no matter what came next, I would never again be silent. Months later, as the trials of the arrested men began, I received letters from people I'd never met. Some were victims of racism themselves. Others admitted they'd once held hateful beliefs but had changed after seeing my videos. Teachers sent photos of students holding Voices Unmuted posters. Parents thanked me for inspiring their kids to speak up. Sometimes at night I'd still wake up in a cold sweat, dreaming of drones or breaking doors. But then I'd see Mia's smile, my parents safe, my friends protected, and I'd remember why it had all been worth it. One evening, Daniel and I walked through the same park where it all started. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows on the grass. Children laughed on the swings. The place felt different now, not haunted but reclaimed. We sat on the bench where the boys had once surrounded me. Daniel pulled out his phone and showed me a message from Leah. Final convictions today. All guilty. I looked out at the playground, then back at him. It's over, I said softly. He nodded. And it's just beginning. I smiled. Yeah. Just beginning. As we stood to leave, a group of teenagers recognized me. They waved shyly, then came over. One girl said, I saw your videos. Because of you, I spoke up at school. They actually changed our policy. Another boy added, you showed me I'm not alone. I took selfies with them, signed a few notebooks. As they left, Daniel looked at me with a proud half-smile. You've come full circle, he said. I nodded, feeling the evening breeze on my face. And it started with YouTube, I said. Funny how something so small can open a door that big. Later that night, back home, I uploaded the finished video. How YouTube Changed My Life in 1 Year After Being a Victim of Racism. I pressed publish and watched the comments appear in real time. Hearts, clapping emojis, words of solidarity. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes, and let out a long breath. For the first time in a year, the future felt wide open. And somewhere out there, on millions of screens, kids were watching, listening, maybe recognizing a piece of themselves in my story. Maybe finding the courage to speak up too. That was the real victory, not just surviving, but lighting a path for others. I turned off the camera light and whispered to myself, we're louder than hate. Then I smiled. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every new video we share brings the truth to light. Don't stop here, keep watching and stand with us against racism. Thank you for watching to the end.